guys, hi, welcome back once again. My name is Vaishali, and today, in continuation with my last video, which was in keeping with redefining positive mindset, I wish to correlate it with enriching mindset. So what do I mean when I talk about enriching mindset? Well, from my perspective, it essentially means that I am not in denial of any of the feelings, of any of the thoughts, of any of the emotions that make me human. Essentially means I am acknowledging, I am respecting, and I am validating all of the things, all of the feelings, all of the thoughts that make me more human. So let's take up a few examples over here and try to understand them in certain contexts. So say for example, a baby while playing falls down. What is our first knee-jerk reaction and not a response when such a thing happens? Invariably, we end up telling the little kid, oh, it's a strong kid and it need not cry. We end up trying to distract the kid by XYZ number of things, so that the kid stops to cry. And I have done it myself. But very rarely are we able to hold the baby and let it cry out its pain. Let it mourn its hurt. And to us at that point in time, it may not seem like a big deal. But for that little kid, it is a pretty big deal. And when we try to deny that child's pain, we are not only invalidating what the child is feeling, what that developing individual is feeling, but at the same time, we are also trying to tell it how to distract itself from its own pain, how to invalidate its own human feelings. Is it helpful at that point in time? Yes, most of the times it works. We learn it as a coping mechanism and not as a self-regulatory mechanism. We somewhere invariably even end up telling the other person that crying is not acceptable. That being vulnerable and open enough to be able to express your emotions as they are is not acceptable. And these kind of situations not only get replayed when we face physical pains, but they also get replayed in kind of similar ways when we face mental or emotional pains as well. So say somebody is not finding fulfillment either in their professional or in their personal lives, in their intimate relationships. Most of the times we replay the similar coping mechanisms. We try to deny it, we try to digress from it, we try to brush it aside, we even try to bury it down, to repress it, to suppress it, to not acknowledge it, to invalidate it. And the more we do that, the more we fracture our own values, the more we fracture our own integrity, the more we fracture our own selves, the more conflicted we feel, not only internally, but even in our interpersonal relationships. Invariably feeling more lonely despite being surrounded by 8 billion individuals, despite being socially connected across the globe like we've never experienced before, which ends up making us feel more disconnected and thus more depressed, because we try and repress which we have tried to digress from for the longest time. So how about then not escaping our own selves? How about not denying our own selves to our own selves and even to those that matter to us? How about acknowledging all of our humanness? Because it's only when we acknowledge ourselves can we try to begin to have a knowledge of ourselves in the first place. How about not disregarding our own selves so that we begin to have some regard for our own selves, a self that is very personal, a self that is also interpersonal? How about then curating wholesome, enriching mindsets and not getting stuck with positive or negative mindsets by not trying to dissuade, to distract, to digress, to run away, to escape from our own selves, from our own experiences? Let's try and think a little more about that, and I will see you once again the next week. Till then, stay tuned in. And guys, if you do like the contents of my videos, please do like, share and subscribe.